Hey there everyone, it's time to go over the Hemlok. A monster of a weapon no matter your input method, this gun ends up with one of the fastest times to kill in the game, matched by only a few. The Hemlok fires a 3-round burst, dealing a maximum of 35 damage, dropping off to a minimum of 20. Yes, you heard that right. A burst weapon, capable of killing in a single burst. Last time I heard of that was the M16 with stopping power in COD 4. A gun that a lot of players hated, and for honestly very understandable reasons. I know I was one of those players. Time to relive the Modern Warfare days, boys and girls. Here we go. Take a look at the ranges and the clips here to get a feeling for where your bullets are going to start experiencing range fall off. Numerically, your range is identical to the carbine and the flatline, so no big surprises here. Ignore how awkward some of these clips are. It's honestly a bit of a pain trying to only hit 1 or 2 bullets out of the 3-round burst here, so I'm doing my best. I feel like these show off well enough the point that I'm trying to make, so here you go. Also, please find attached a couple of clips of the Hemlok with amped weapons. As always, these are indicated by the crosshair appearing orange instead of white. Your headshot multiplier is 1.5x, like most guns in the game. With at least one headshot, you're going to be killing in 4 shots or less at max range, while getting consistent 3 shots at medium range as long as, again, you're hitting at least 1 headshot. At close range, you're going to need 2 headshots to see any benefit at all. In this case, you are technically down to a 2-shot kill, but it's not really a common occurrence, and I'm only including it for completion's sake. Getting back to the review and tips though, this is honestly a fantastic gun. Controller, mouse, doesn't matter. This gun wrecks people. It's just so hard to compete with the 1 burst kill potential, and the follow-up burst comes so quickly that it's hard to react to it when being shot by the first burst. It's just a fast-killing gun, even with the burst delay, which, by the way, is much shorter than it was in Titanfall 1. At least it feels like it is to me. Your recoil increases with each burst. The first few bursts are pretty accurate, but if you fire an entire magazine's worth in quick succession, expect the recoil to become quite high between each bullet in any given burst. You need to transition from barely pulling down with your aim into a much harder downward pull in order to counteract this if you're dumping the mag really quickly. This recoil settles somewhat rapidly if you take some time between your bursts though, so it's really not a big deal to be totally honest. When actually using the Hemlok, your job is generally going to be a little passive with it. This is one of those guns in Titanfall 2 that you can't accurately hipfire, so stick to aiming down sights except in very close engagements. While I do have to say, a lot of times I get very, very lucky with Hemlok recoil, but sometimes I don't, man. I feel like I'm just getting, Looney Tunes where every bullet is just creating an outline of the character that I'm shooting as opposed to actually hitting them, so your mileage may vary. This one is like RNG to the point where you kinda can rely on it sometimes, but sometimes it's just not in your favor, so that's kind of the way this one works. Your performance firing this gun mid-air while aiming down sights is surprisingly solid at closer ranges, so try your best to snap into those optics even if it's a little uncomfortable at first. Instead of giving you guys full pilot loadouts, which are honestly a little too representative of my personal preferences and are a little repetitive at this point, I'm going to instead give you a list of things that I feel actually work with this gun. So, as for your weapon attachments, Tactical and Speedloader are very high value attachments on most guns in the game, and you're not going to be going wrong by using them in pretty much any situation. For optics, I would stick with the low zoom HCOG scope, but the HCOG Ranger isn't a terrible choice either. Again, personal preference. And honestly, with the Hemlok being as efficient as it is, you may not really need to even reload super terribly often, and when you do, you're not going to be in really fast fights where you want to get that fast reload, so I wouldn't be totally opposed to putting a threat scope on this weapon and only running it with like Tactical. That would be honestly pretty decent as well. For tactical abilities, I feel that Pulse Blade, Cloak, and Phase Shift pair best with this weapon. Pulse Blade gives great control and presence in objective modes like CTF, where your job is going to be to create openings for your teammates to bust into an enemy base. Cloak helps you to move more easily in order to set up some one-shot burst kills in close ranges, while also helping you to maneuver more safely at all ranges. With Tactical, 4 shots while cloaked will give you another cloak pretty much immediately upon the first one expiring. You can have nearly 100% uptime on an ability that a lot of players are currently feeling is too good. That's just a no-brainer. As for Phase Shift, this is way more experimental, and I feel is probably mostly useful at tournament levels of play. hang back, take a couple of shots. If you don't get a kill in, 2 or 3 bursts, then just phase out, try to reset yourself, or try again. Or you can even just, use that opportunity to run away safely. A lot of times using a phase shift to get away is a lot better than dying and waiting for that long CTF respawn timer. But again, that's a very niche application that doesn't apply to most people. So for most people, I would consider more strongly sticking with Cloak or Pulse Blade. For ordnances, arc grenades are probably your best bet with this gun, but to be totally honest, I just have so much fun with the Firestar that it's probably the only ordnance that you're seeing in most of the clips here, so I'm sorry that I'm, talking about something I don't have a lot of footage of, but honestly, I just like the Firestar, and I put it on frickin' everything. It's like my bread and butter, But to be serious and get back on topic, arc grenades are fantastic and probably are the way to go in most cases, unless you're really confident that you're a pro Genji like I am. If you've watched lots of my previous videos, you're probably well aware of my feelings on the pilot kits in this game. In the tier 1 slot, use whatever you want. They're all good value abilities that enable you to do cool stuff. My personal preference is fast regen. On the second kit though, again, to repeat myself from previous videos, I kind of think that you're foolish to grab anything that's not either stealth kit or at least kill report. So make sure you're running with one of those if you want to just blindly pick some of the things that I'm suggesting. In summary, this gun offers a trifecta of great traits: efficiency, damage, and usability in a way that not many other guns can compete with. Give this one a go, slap some amped weapons on it, and you're all set. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you've learned something new today. Leave me any questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer anything that didn't make the cut for this video. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.